Good evening, guys, and happy Monday to all of your sunshiny faces. Guys, it has been a long Monday. I pretty much got to everything today except didn't do laundry or dishes really, but I did yesterday, so like I didn't really need to get to that. I was busy outside today because I weeded our entire vegetable garden, which ended up, it took me kind of a little bit longer than I expected, but it was also less time so far than any of the other beds I think that I've done. It was under 2 hours in total to do the whole thing, and again too, to be honest, it probably shouldn't have taken me as long as it did, only because there's so much grass in the vegetable garden beds. Again, this is our problem with all of our garden beds. We have grass that comes into the beds because, okay, for one, we don't have any like edging, like the like plastic edging stuff. We just have rocks, and to act like a natural barrier kind of thing, which does work. Dad actually edged though our garden bed in the front yard last year, just like with like an edger, and it came out really nice and it looked really nice, but very quickly all the grass went right through the rocks and right back into the garden bed, and so like it really, like, it doesn't work. I don't know how people get that natural edging look without actually having like any like plastic edging or anything like that. Unless like you just have to do it like all the time, like a couple times a month or something like that, or at least like several times during the summer or whatever. But like there's somebody that lives down the street from us, and like they have like just like a natural edged bed, like the grass just like stops like right on the edge of the bed, and it looks so nice. And I'm like, you know, we could have that and then just have the rocks in the inside of it. But like, I don't know if they like edge it constantly and that's why it looks like that or what. But yeah, I'm not about to be out there all the time. I'm using the plastic stuff to edge it. But that's for all of our flower beds. Like there's also the only bed so far that I haven't weeded. I think someone pulled some of the dead stuff out. It's like the dead like plants from last year out of the beds in the backyard, which I did all of our potted plants in both the front and backyard. The only thing is there's 2 garden beds that are in the back. I didn't do those 2. That's the last that I have left to do, and then I've at least done everything once so far this year. But again too, it's like now at this point I have to get back out to the first bed that I started with like a few weeks ago. So because it's at that point where like there's weeds in it again. I have to go over it a second time already. And like I said, it feels like I just got out there, but I mean it was honestly probably about 4 weeks ago or 5 weeks ago or something like that. It's actually been a while since I've been out there, but you know, like a month's time. But when you have so many flower beds, you have to go through them more than one time. Also though, I didn't do the flower bed in between our house and our sidewalk. That's the other one in the front yard that I didn't do. So yeah, anyways though, the vegetable garden bed though, it's raised garden bed. There's still grass in there. It still manages to get in there. I honestly think that too, like when my dad and Jack mow the lawn or weed whack, like they end up blowing the grass into the garden bed. And so that's why then like the seeds get in there, and then it starts grass as seed, and then it ends up with grass seed. I also think too though, they're honestly going under, like, because that's what grass does, is that the roots go underneath like whatever it is, like for example the rocks, and then it goes through and goes under, and then it just grows up. Well again too, if you have edging like a barrier, it creates it so that it's like deep enough so that it normally doesn't do that very much. And you know, like the other thing too is that putting plastic down. Now, like when my mom first did the garden bed in the front yard, I think she did put plastic down, but it's been so long, like since that bed was, you know, even created, that it doesn't have the plastic. Is like either if there is any, it's all torn up by this point, you know, whatever. So and we didn't use any plastic in the vegetable garden bed because we didn't want to, like, you know, again to have the like plastic chemicals and stuff like that in there. So we just used like, and we even stained it. We got it from this like natural, like we ordered it online. You can't even buy it like in like a hardware store. But it's like this natural stain. It is so good though. I mean, it's expensive, but it is so good, and it like holds up really, really, really well. And it also, it looks really nice. But anyways, so we only have like natural like stuff in the vegetable garden bed. Flower garden bed, don't care what's in there really. I mean, I don't even use chemicals though in like the flower garden, like to keep grass out or to, you know, do anything like that, like weed killer, like that kind of stuff. But again too, like putting the plastic around the edging and that kind of stuff, I have no problem with. It's just like we have to do that because it's a problem in the front and, you know, in the back with the flower garden beds. But the vegetable garden bed, I think that, like I said, the grass is just, it's coming up like through the sides, through the cracks, kind of in the wood, like you know, from underneath. And so it's you know, it's having a dandy time in there too, because then once we get the vegetables in the bed, it makes it like impossible to try and weed, because if you pull the grass out, you're gonna disturb all the roots to the plants that are in there, and it's not very good. So while I did that, it will probably end up with tons of grass in there again throughout the year. And like I said, I have to keep weeding it, but also too, I can't in some places, like I said, you know, if it's really close to some of the you know, vegetables that we're planting, because if I try and pull it out, then it's all connected through the roots and everything like that, and then I end up starting to pull out you know, like the vegetables. But we're not at that point yet. I wanted to do that because most likely over this weekend we're going to plant the vegetable garden bed, and in order to do that, it needs to be cleared out of all of the weeds that were in there. Mainly it was all grass though today. All of that, and then also getting all of the, you know, just like it prepared and everything. So pulled out all the dead stuff too that was in there, which wasn't very much because I think we did that one point earlier, but for the most part it was just kind of the tomato plants were kind of still left in there. And then like I moved all of the like trellises and tomato cages, all of our herbs in our like herb garden, which is like the first like raised garden bed that we have. That one is actually doing really well, and it didn't have much in there. There wasn't much that needed to be weeded out of it, but the other beds were really, really bad. So like I said, it was not very fun today actually, to have to do all of that, but I got it all done. And like I said, now we're kind of prepped and somewhat ready for getting this stuff in over the weekend, or possibly by next week. But again too, it only took me about 2 hours. Then I came in, I took a shower, me and Jack went walking, but I actually woke up earlier than Jack this morning. I had my breakfast and my coffee, then we ended up going walking, then I came back, went straight out into the garden bed, and was done by around 1:30. I think I went out there sometime before noon. I think it was like 11:30 or so. So it took me about 2 hours in total. Took a shower, was out, done, you know, dressed, changed out of all of my dirty clothes, and then it was about 2 o'clock, and then I ended up making my grocery lists, and I finished those. Well, I finished the Meyer one. So I'm all finished with that. Then I also did a little bit of editing, but other than that, you know, again, it was kind of a lot. So I did get to a lot today, but it wasn't everything checked off my planner. Like again too, I didn't really get to dishes or laundry or anything like that, but I was kind of busy with, you know, like I said, being out in the garden. And the other thing that is really difficult is that the vegetable garden bed is in full sun, so the sun is just beating down on you. And like, I didn't originally think it was that hot today, and it wasn't supposed to be like that super hot, like 70s or so, which again too is hot for right now. But you know, like me and Jack went walking, I was in like leggings and like a long sleeve shirt, and like, you know, I was like a little bit warm when we came back, but then I was like, oh, you know, I'll change into like shorts and go outside. But originally I was like, I'm gonna wear like shorts maybe and like a long sleeve shirt, or like maybe pants and a long sleeve shirt or something like that, because I still thought it was gonna be cold outside. I am so happy I wore shorts and a tank top because it was so hot. I made sure sunscreened, and I have a little floppy hat actually. I got it at Aldi yesterday when we went. And also too, these knee pad things that like, instead of having one of those little like kneeler kind of like you know, like foam kind of things that you can use in the garden, they're actually just knee pads. So like I could just like get up and then squat back down and like start weeding stuff, and I was like, this is actually really nice. It took me a little while to get used to though, funny enough, because I was like, oh, I need to like find the like kneeler so that like I can move it, and I was like, wait, it's on my knees already. Like, I don't need to move. It's just like already there. And so it was really nice because I didn't, you know, like, I didn't have to like keep moving it and then keep repositioning to try and, you know, like pull stuff out, because it is just kind of hard when you're doing that to like try and like move things. And then, you know, like sometimes I was like outside the garden bed, sometimes I was back in the garden bed, like getting certain stuff at different angles or whatever. And I was just like, I don't have to move anything around with me because my knee pads are just with me. But I probably looked ridiculous to the neighbors today. I had my floppy hat on, my knee pads on, I had crazy color combination. I was like, they probably getting a laugh at my getup out there, my gardening getup that I had on. But like I said, it worked. I don't care. Now my garden bed looks nice. I didn't look so nice while I was doing it, but now that it's done, the garden looks nice. And now I am dressed and looked a lot better than I did earlier, you know, in my dirty like work clothes, gardening clothes, and all of that. So yeah, it got done, which like I said is good, but it was just, more or less, it was just the heat, the sun, the direction that the sun was coming down on that just was not, that was probably the worst part. Like, I could have probably stayed out there longer had the sun not been blaring down on me, but it didn't take that long, because like I said, I feel like had there not been so much grass, it would have been really quick. But the grass was the biggest pain and the biggest part that was like the problem. Like there was a few dandelions in there, like that was easy to pull out, but the grass, like trying to get it from like the roots, and like the problem is too is that it would like break off. So like I go to pull it and like the roots wouldn't come with it, and I'm like, great, I know it's down there somewhere and it's just gonna come back now if I don't get the roots out. So anyways, my dad's gonna till it though anyway, so hopefully that should help a little bit. But and like breaking up all of the roots and then pulling, you know, that stuff out that is still in there. But I have another plan for that, which we'll see how that works, possibly if we try and do it over the weekend, but maybe I'll share that with you guys then. Either way though, I'm going to just brush my teeth and get to bed because I already showered for today and got all that mud off from the garden bed earlier. So I'll see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love it if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye guys.